Rhombus is basically parallelogram plus all sides are equal. Right? It is not a square because we don't need to have the angles being equal to 90. Not necessary. Right? Angles can be anything. Just that obviously it's a parallelogram, the opposite angles would be equal. That is bound to happen. So they could be like 60, 120, 120 for example, or anything. 50, 50, 110, 110. Just that opposite are same and the adjacent will add up to 180, the parallelogram properties. Opposite sides are parallel, the opposite sides are equal, and because we know all sides are equal, we denote with A and A. Right, so that's fundamental thing. When it comes to area, the standard formula for the area for rhombus is talked with the diagonal length. So the diagonal length would turn out to be, this is D1, this is D2. Okay, we denote with D1 and D2 as the diagonal lengths. So area is written as half into D1 into D2. And one important property of diagonals, again, diagonals bisect each other at right angles. Even for rhombus, it happens at right angles. So if the diagonal length dB is D1, what will be this half of it? DO, D1 by 2. And other half would be D1 by 2. This will be D2 by 2 and this will be also D2 by 2. And they bisect each other at right angles, so that's why they are 90, 90, 90. So this is where I can again write a very useful Pythagoras theorem, that is the hypotenuse A square equals to D1 by 2 square. That is, I am talking about DO, this part. And the other side will be D2 by 2, so that will be D2 by 2 square. So if I give you the diagonal length and ask you to find the perimeter of a rhombus, you can do it. If I say there's a rhombus with diagonals 16 centimeter and 12 centimeters, what is the perimeter of the rhombus? I can do it, right? So 16 by 2 is 8 square plus 12 by 2 is 6 square, that is 100. So A square is 100, A is 10. Once I know side length, I just need to add all 4, that is 40 is the perimeter. So I can use this formula to find out a link between the diagonals and the side lengths. Right? That's, again, we can also use the product of two adjacent sides into sine of angle between them. Sine A, sine B, sine D, any angle basically. A, all the sides are anyway equal. I just need to add product of two adjacent sides into sine of angle between them. Would also give me the area of a rhombus. Perimeter is simply calculated by adding all the sides, that is 4A. Right? And the diagonal lengths D1, D2 equal, we'll have two different diagonals. If you remember, parallelogram, rhombus, the diagonal lengths are not equal. D1 is not equal to D2, not necessarily, might be in some special case, but not necessary. When it comes to rectangle and a square, the diagonal lengths are always equal. Both the diagonals would be equal. So here also I'll have two diagonals, D1 and D2, right? And I can, use them. Generally, they would give you clues on the area so that I can find the product of diagonals and give you some other clue to figure out the individual diagonals. Remember that diagonals bisect each other at the right angles. That's the important property that you need to remember.